My friends, it's happening again. YouTube has changed the algorithm and they are removing subscribers from my channel at a ridiculous rate. At this moment, you may have been unsubscribed from my channel without any warning or notification. So I'm asking you to please make sure that you are still subscribed and have the notification bell selected so you'll receive updates when I post videos. And if you are not subscribed, please take a moment and do so. Help us keep fighting this war to save pop culture from the predations of cultural vandals and the wokeness of these corporations. We are winning this war as more companies turn away from wokeness, but the price of freedom is eternal vigilance, and we must all band together to stop this onslaught against Western civilization. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you would. And now, on to the video. Brie Larson. To Marvel fans, the mere mention of her name is like garlic to a vampire. I don't believe there's a woman who inspires more loathing among fans than Brie Larson.
2 words, dude. Rachel Zegler.
Okay, fine. I suspect Rachel Zegler inspires as much loathing as Brie Larson, but not more. Although the amount of rancor Rachel Zegler has inspired in such a short amount of time is very impressive. Brie Larson had years of obnoxious woke behavior to drive fans to this level of rejection, but Rachel has managed to do it in less than a year, so I tip my helm to her. As I reported previously, the amount of controversy and fury Zegler stirred up with her idiotic comments about Snow Woke and the 7 welfare recipients prompted Bob Iger to tell her to shut the hell up, and that's why we haven't heard much from her lately, exactly as my spies predicted. But Brie Larson is very much in the news lately because her latest affront to Western civilization is hitting theaters like a flaming bag of poop on the cinematic porch come November 10th. And a slew of articles have appeared denouncing the toxic fans of the MCU and claiming that Brie Larson has had it with us toxic fans to the point that she's fed up with the role of Captain Marvel and is ready to quit. Is this true? Or is this bullpucky? My friends, in today's video I have a report from my Hollywood spies that suggests all these articles about Brie Larson being fed up and wanting out are lies to cover up what's really going on behind the scenes at Marvel, and I'm going to debunk those articles today. But one thing seems clear: fans may soon be rid of Brie Larson playing Captain Marvel for good.
Could this be true? Could Santa Claus come down the chimney this Christmas, bringing every good Marvel fan what they most wanted, and MCU free of Brie Larson's insufferable Captain Marvel? Ah, what a wonderful day to be a severed head in a bubble.
Oh, Skull of Calderon, I am delighted to be able to present this information to all Marvel fans today, because I know that everyone is sick and tired of the arrogant, charmless, overpowered, underwritten feminist mess that is Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. But let's examine what the press is saying about Brie Larson. Then I'll share what my Hollywood spies are telling me. And finally, I'll conclude with evidence that leads me to believe we're finally going to be free of the woman who put the Cree in creep. Recently, an article appeared in the Direct titled, "Brie Larson reportedly disillusioned with Marvel role after toxic backlash." In this article, they write, quote, "According to a new report, Brie Larson may have become disillusioned about her Marvel role thanks to toxic backlash from fans. Larson, who is set to lead the Marvels as Carol Danvers / Captain Marvel, has faced her fair share of critiques since joining the superpowered franchise. For better or for worse, the comic book movie genre / popcorn franchise entertainment has become inundated by trolls, heaven forbid. In Larson's case, much of the criticism has come from, as her MCU co-star Samuel L. Jackson once put it, people who hate strong women, with sexist comments being made about her hero, the movie she stars in, and the actor herself, unquote.
The fans don't hate strong women. They hate crappy characters born on home plate who think they hit a home run. Like all of the woke women slay queens of the past 10 years, they didn't earn the title Bestest Ever. They were just written that way by amateur diversity hires, and fans couldn't help but gag on being force-fed this kind of crap. Fans aren't allergic to strong women like Ellen Ripley, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, or Sarah Connor. But bad writing in service of woke propaganda makes us all break out in hives. I guess a guy who sends back a steak that's been burned is a toxic diner for complaining about the fact he wanted his steak medium rare. Well, fuck you, Mr. Diner, for wanting a good product. A strong woman burned the shit out of your steak, but if you don't eat it like a good little member of the patriarchy, you're a sexist troll. Yeah, right. Fuck anyone that makes this argument. Maybe if Disney stopped blaming their customers for rejecting their substandard products, the stock wouldn't have hit a near-record low yesterday. The stock price is a symptom of Disney's failure, and it's just going to keep dropping lower and lower as people come to understand they deserve much better than a burnt steak.
Agreed, gentlemen. But here's the crucial part of this article, quote, "As a part of the recently released MCU, The Reign of Marvel Studios, author Joanna Robinson revealed Larson has grown disillusioned with working with Marvel Studios. Quote, "The future of those Marvel icons was unclear. The departure of franchise anchors like Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, and Scarlett Johansson had already taken its toll, as had the shocking loss of Chadwick Boseman, but other MCU stalwarts were headed for the exits. The Guardians of the Galaxy cast went on a farewell tour, Brie Larson grew disillusioned, and Marvel tussled with Sony in a custody battle over Tom Holland," unquote. While speaking on the Ringer's The Watch podcast, Robinson followed up her writing in the book, plainly remarking, "Marvel Studios put Brie Larson in a prominent place in the MCU. I don't know if Brie Larson was the wrong person for the role necessarily, but the toxic backlash means that Brie Larson doesn't want to play Carol Danvers anymore. Coming out of the upcoming The Marvels film, it will be interesting to see if Larson feels the same way about returning as Carol Danvers, or if she is done playing her Marvel superhero," unquote. Well, that is the question, isn't it? But according to my Hollywood spies, what's really going on here is much more amusing than most people realize, so get ready to smile, folks. At this point, I must state that what I'm about to share with you is information provided to me by sources claiming knowledge of the situation, but since I cannot personally confirm what I'm about to tell you, I am presenting it as unverified rumor, and I ask you to please take it with a grain of salt. On October 22nd, my spies sent me this update about Brie, quote, "So let's go over what we've been told, and bear in mind we told you Brie could be on her way out of the MCU. If you've noticed, all of the latest ads for the Marvels have been very heavy Brie. As we understand it, this is on purpose. Brie's future is very dependent on how the Marvels performs, and according to our sources, if it does perform the worst or one of the worst movies of the MCU, she's out. In order to help her save face, Disney is willing to let Brie Larson claim she is leaving." Let me repeat that last part, folks. In order to help her save face, Disney is willing to let her claim Brie Larson is leaving, unquote.
Oh, so Marvel is already laying the groundwork for never working with Brie Larson again. But instead of being fired and canceled, Brie is going to say she's quitting and pin it on the toxic fans on the way out the door with her pink slip in hand? Standard operating procedure for those woke wankers. Fail and declare victory.
There is one caveat to all of this, however. My spies conclude their post with this warning, quote, "If the Marvels does okay to great, she could stay, but only time in the box office will tell," unquote. In other words, if by some miracle God lowers the taste levels of the American public on the morning of November 10th, people decide, hey, I really want to watch garbage over the Thanksgiving holiday, and wonder of wonder, miracles of miracles, this movie isn't the biggest bomb to hit since Nagasaki. Brie Larson may stay in the MCU, but here's why I don't think this is going to happen, folks. The Marvels is going to suck, and it's widely expected to be a big failure. In two recent articles in Forbes expresses grave doubts that the Marvels is going to be anything but a big flop. In one article they write, quote, "The latest addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe is expected to gross between $75 and $80 million when it makes its box office debut next month, barely half of what its prequel made when it debuted in 2019, and an example of what industry experts have called superhero fatigue that has moviegoers pressing pause before racing to the theater for every new film," unquote. And why is that the case? Well, the mainstream media articles can't actually come out and say that Brie Larson's Captain Marvel is painfully obnoxious and intensely disliked by Marvel fans. They actually have to blame the fans, the customers, for complaining about the lousy product to the ungrateful swine. Nevertheless, these articles are all looking for other excuses for the looming bomb that is the Marvels, and here's what Forbes also says in another article titled, "Marvel should brace for poor The Marvels performance, even if it's good." Quote, "We are about 2 weeks away from the release of The Marvels, the film that's not just a follow-up to Captain Marvel, but also a follow-up to WandaVision, Ms. Marvel, and Secret Invasion on Disney Plus, technically. All of that jammed into just an hour and 45 minutes, the MCU's shortest ever film. At this point, it does not seem like it will matter all that much if the movie is actually good, which it won't be, but never mind. Captain Marvel was an okay MCU film, but we are living in a very different era now, and this feels like a key case in Disney's overcomplicated movie TV process at the moment, one that Kevin Feige has already said they're going to streamline in the future with less shows made to directly serve movies like the 3 examples we're seeing here. For the Marvels, in order to know anything about Monica Rambeau and her powers, you need to have seen WandaVision, which covered that entire storyline. In order to get a proper introduction to Kamala Khan, you have to watch Ms. Marvel, which is in fact one of Disney's least watched series ever, despite having the highest critic scores in the MCU, unquote.
And Secret Invasion on Disney Plus was so secret, no one watched it. So Captain Marvel is built on a foundation made of nothing but failure after failure with a lead actress no one likes. Yep, barring some kind of Egypt-style plague afflicting the intelligence and taste of the U.S. population, this movie is toast.
And if it's toast, it looks like Brie Larson will be fired, but be allowed to say she's fed up and leaving of her own free will because of toxic trolls, if the sources talking to my Hollywood spies are correct. Either way, it seems very likely that at least one bestest ever will be turned into a bestest never once again. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry. Ha 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 ha.